Good morning, Fellowship Hi-Crest family. My name is Cassandra, and welcome to your morning Jumpstart. We're going to be reading from Esther chapter 4, verses 5 through 17. So let's go. So this says, she ordered him to go to Mordecai and find out what was troubling him and why he was in mourning. So Hathach went out to Mordecai in the square in front of the palace gate. Mordecai told him the whole story, including the exact amount of money Haman had promised to pay into the royal treasury for the destruction of the Jews. Mordecai gave Hathach a copy of the decree issued in Susa that called for the death of all Jews. He asked Hathach to show it to Esther and explain the situation to her. He also asked Hathach to direct her to go to the king to beg for mercy and plead for her people. So Hathach returned to Esther with Mordecai's message. Then Esther told Hathach to go back and relay this message to Mordecai. All the king's officials and even the people in provinces know that anyone who appears before the king in his inner court without being invited is doomed to die unless the king holds out his gold scepter, and the king has not called for me to come to him for 30 days. So Hathach gave Esther's message to Mordecai. Mordecai sent this reply to Esther. Don't think for a moment that because you're in the palace, you will escape when all other Jews are killed. If you keep quiet at a time like this, deliverance and relief for the Jews will arise from some other place, but you and your relatives will die. Who knows if perhaps you were made queen for just such a time as this? Then Esther sent this reply to Mordecai. Go and gather together all the Jews of Susa and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. My maids and I will do the same. And then, though it is against the law, I will go in to see the king. If I must die, I must die. So Mordecai went away and did everything as Esther had ordered him. And this is God's word. Now, Esther in this story at first is really hesitant to do what Mordecai asked for her to do because the potential consequences of going to the king without being summoned is death. It was actually Mordecai. At that point, he and Esther had a really deep relationship. So when she was not going to go and talk to the king, Mordecai reminded her of who she was and where she came from and what her purpose may have been. Because we have a mission to build God's kingdom. And the king, under his decree, although he didn't write it up, read the story to know more about that, put it to where all Jews were going to be put to death. Now, not only did Mordecai remind her who she was and her purpose, but he also held her accountable and called her into action. Now, when he did this, Esther did not just leap in to action. In fact, she went in with some preparation. She told Mordecai to gather all the Jews that he could find in Susa, and all of them, plus her and her maids, were going to fast, and they were going to pray for 3 full days and 3 full nights before going to the king. So my question for you, Fellowship Hi-Crest, is this. Who do you have in your corner that has a deep relationship with you, that can remind you of who you are and what your purpose is when you're feeling scared, when you're feeling insecure, when you're feeling like you're not the person to do something when it comes to building God's kingdom? Who is it that you have built a deep relationship with? Do you have anybody like that? Or is everybody in your community and your circle at surface level? Fellowship Hi-Crest, continue to power up, pour in, and spill out. You have a great day.